Okay, so you running. So please inform us, what is it that the people do or people should know about what y'all do down there?
The clerk of court is a constitutional officer who maintains court records.
Yeah.
Anything that is filed in Fulton County, as criminal documents, civil cases, and property deeds.
Yeah.
Anything that is filed that goes before a superior court judge is filed in Fulton County. That is the responsibility of the clerk of court.
I understand. And what made you want to throw your hat in and say, hey, I think I can manage this situation a little bit better? What was on, what came up on your radar? What made you just want to get involved and run?
Well, when I started in 1997, I was being groomed to run for clerk, and it was the service. It was the service, and what we don't see now is good customer service.
Indeed.
As a taxpayer, you should be able to get great service when you enter into the courthouse.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting that, and most of what the constituents are saying, hey, no one answers your phone.
Yeah, indeed.
No one replies to emails.
Yeah.
And so that is why I jumped into the race.
Indeed.
To make sure that you get what you need as a taxpayer.
Right. Now, I've heard stories, and maybe it's just something that, people just like to make up, but with these quick claim deeds, right, that folks can go down to the courthouse, see who owes back taxes on a property, or I don't know how that works, get a quick claim deed, take over the property, put the person out of their own home. Can you walk me through that? What is that? What's going on with that?
In real estate, in recording, if you bring a quick claim deed to the courthouse, we can't stop you from filing.
What is a quick claim deed? What is it?
A quick claim deed is deeding your property over to someone else. You don't go through the regular process of the deed itself.
Okay.
So you're saying, okay, I want to leave Rodney my property. So we draw up a contract, we draw up a deed, and that deed is filed with the clerk of court to make it legal.
Indeed.
Now, it may not be legal, but if you give it to the clerk will file it.
Yeah.
Now, the person that owning the property, and I don't know that it happened, hey,
wow.
I got your property in my name. So now I can go out and get a loan on your property because it's in my name now. And you may not even know it.
That's crazy, right?
You may not know.
Hold on, walk us back. So let's reverse a little bit. Let's reverse. So I say I'm at home.
You're
in my crib. I bought this property in the West End, right? Someone can file a quick claim deed without my permission.
Without your permission.
And
actually, if they,
so I don't ever really.
You would not know. What is in place now is something that you voluntarily get to be informed if there's a deed filed on your property.
Yeah.
And which it doesn't make any sense because
you voluntarily get to be informed.
Yeah.
But it should be mandatory with something.
It should be mandatory, in which I plan to make it mandatory.
Okay.
Because Fulton County stretches from the Forsyth County line all the way to the Noonan County line. If you're a homeowner in Fulton County, you will be mandated to set up in my system, hey, this is not your property.
Yeah.
And so someone in the clerk's office would notify you to come, hey, someone just filed a quick claim deed on your property. Is this you?
Yeah.
And so then we should take it to the next level of getting the DA involved.
Yeah.
And or any type of the sheriff.
Right.
Because someone is now trying to steal your property.
Right.
That is now becoming a high volume of deed fraud in Fulton County. And because that property is filed with the clerk of court should make sure that your property is in your name and it stays in your name, your children's name. If you want to leave your kids something, that's a big investment.
So you mean to tell me when I go down to the courthouse and you see those people on those computers or all those records and stuff, do you think is that what they're doing?
They're called title runners. They actually run the titles on the property to see, okay, if the house was built in 1932, so they have to go back as far as 1932 to see who all owned that property. Now, if it's legit, we won't know because there's nothing in place in the clerk's office to show even with the title runners. Because based on 3 individuals, she filed with her mortgage company. She was behind on her rent. So on her mortgage, so they asked her, say, okay, can I do a modification?
Yeah.
She did the modification with the loan company, with the bank. How did she get an extra deed on her property? In which they did the modification, but once she found out, there was a knock on her door. Hey, I own this property. How you own this property? So it was either with the title company or the attorney that was with the title company.
Right.
But the mortgage company had given her permission to do a loan modification. She signed all the paperwork, but how did she end up losing? Now she lost her house, and she's paying rent to someone.
Yeah, it seems like that system can become like predatory, and it seems like they could target elders and people who, some folks can barely make it to their mailbox. It's just a lot that my mind can go there.
No, and you're right, because as I researched it, the zip codes that are targeted is 30310, 30311, and 30331. Those are zip codes that mainly have most of your older homes.
Right.
The homes are probably paid for or not paid for.
Yeah.
But if there's a deed filed on it, you wouldn't know.
Wow.
But the program that
how does I'm sorry not to interrupt you, but how do black families become more educated and keep up with news like this? Is it somewhere they can go? Is it somewhere, like, how do you stay informed?
You should frequently contact the clerk's office to find out, especially if you have an investment as a home. As a homeowner, you want to make sure. Now, the tax commissioner, if you owe taxes, he'll take that. But, you get notified on the different types of issues with the taxes on your property. But if the deed is filed, you don't have that luxury. The clerk don't call you to say, hey, someone just filed a fraudulent deed on your property. So I would suggest that frequently go to the courthouse. The clerk's office is your office. As a taxpayer, you pay us to be there. And so, we work for you. One of the things that Juanita Hicks taught us and trained us on, you work for the taxpayer. And so if you need something from your office, you should be able to say, hey, I haven't received a copy of my deed. We don't have your deed. We don't have your deed. Once your deed is recorded, it's sent back to you.
I got you.
You got the original deed. Now, if something fraudulent happens, then I should be able to tell you, hey, sir, there's a fraudulent deed filed on your property.
Wow, that's heavy.
So that's why I say you should frequently come to the courthouse and see other than jury duty.
So let me ask you this question. Thank you for that response. If you were to win or you get in office and you get elected, how would you make things more efficient? Just like right away, first day, what are you going in outside of the getting notified for the quit claim deeds? What else would you add? What other value would you add to the system? Well,
the priorities now would make sure that staff is trained. And to make sure that they are knowledgeable about the job. I mean, you can e-file is fine, but when you come there, you may not be equipped to know what e-filing is. So I want my staff to be trained to tell you, hey, this is what we need to do. If you don't know how to do it, we're going to make sure you know how to do it when you come down. I don't need to sit you in front of a computer so you can fumble through it. I want my staff to make sure you know what you're doing. Hands on.
So and this is me just being kind of inquisitive. When someone has, like, a journalist is trying to figure out something for a story, they would come down to you. They will come open records and Okay, I get you. I'll follow you.
They can come down to the clerk's office if it's a closed case. They can go to the actual closed record room. Because mainly if it's an old case, you're not going to find those online. So you would have to actually go in and say, I need to order this case. Because, Atlanta, Fulton County has some very high profile cases.
How far back do they go?
Well, before we went to the computer, our records were in the docket books.
Yeah.
We had these great big books that we actually had to go in and write the case number,
Yeah.
the party's name,
Yeah.
and whatever the book and page number was on the documents. So that's how you restore records.
Yeah, I got
But
you.
based on technology now, things have changed.
I got you.
Things have changed. But our records go back as far as the 1800s.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Go back, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
You know, as far as the 1800s, because there are a lot of properties in Fulton County that were built then.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we that's the purpose of the clerk,
Yeah.
to ensure that those records are safeguarded and stored.
Indeed.
Now, back in the day, they would use different types of paper.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the onion skin paper?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, those documents.
Yeah.
You know, you have to really preserve those
Yeah.
if you want to keep that particular document. And those are your AB, your pre-A cases.
Yeah.
And you know, and Fulton County is a museum of knowledge.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of things happen in Fulton County in the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, I can see that. So let's move in another direction real quick. What does a person like you work in the industry like that all the time? How do you chill out? What kind of music do you play? What are you doing?
Okay. Now
I can imagine being my records all day. What are you playing?
well, you know what? One of the things now, I got to put my gospel in, you know, because I thank God for what He done for me now.
Yeah.
Because as being a 3-year cancer survivor, you know, I just, you know, Walter Hawkins.
Let's clap that up for him, y'all, one time. Let's clap that up. Clap that up.
You know, I have a testimony to say on that. But as far as music, I'm old school.
Old school.
Prince, Michael
That
Jackson.
ain't old school. You gotta be Donny Hathaway.
Well, that's too old.
Yeah.
That's too old. But I have nephews who are in their 20s and in their 30s. You know, we'll sit on my mom's patio.
Yeah.
And you know, they'll talk about everyday politics.
Yeah.
And I have a nephew who really believes that Trump
Yeah.
is the best thing for America. He's gonna make America great.
Yeah. Do you think he can?
No.
So,
No.
So when they say Trump is winning black male voters, is that made up?
I believe it is.
Really?
You know,
They say he got 30% of the vote.
well, that's what I'm hearing.
Right.
That's what I'm hearing. But he's offering you something. What is it that he's offering you?
Right.
He's offering you something. So I asked my nephew, you know, he's like, oh man, I had money in my pocket. I said, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so, you know, but it's intriguing to see that young people are now they're talking about voting and getting into politics. Whether you believe that it's the Republican or whether you believe that it's the Democrat, I'm grateful that they are now looking at the issues at hand because it affects them.
Yeah. So do you think Joe Biden has done a good job?
Sleepy Joe has done a great job.
What are some of the things you enjoyed about his presidency so far?
Well, one, we both are Democrats.
Yeah.
And so his values and what I believe in is that he's helping the people. Mm-hmm. He's helping the people whether you have money or whether you don't have money. And just listening to some of the seniors, you know, they like him. They like what they get from him. You know, whether if it's additional services from the federal government. You know, everybody looking for stimulus checks.
Yeah.
Those that can get them.
Yeah.
But I do believe that he's looking out for the people.
Yeah, indeed. What about Governor Kemp? Do you think he's doing a good job right now? Do you think
Yes, I'm gonna say that on camera. He's doing a great job. That's the politically correct answer.
So he's doing a great job.
I'm not gonna say great, but he just happened to be the person in the seat.
Right.
And so whatever issues that are facing him, I'm sure he's doing the right thing to settle and handle those issues.
Yeah, indeed. And do you think what advice would you give to black families that are got a kid that's 18 voting for the first time, how do you think they should look at this next election, and how should they get involved with local politics and like inform their children about how important it is?
I believe that at the age now, 17, 18, 19, and forward to, let's say 25, you should look at the issues. You should look at what are the issues that are out there. How does it affect me? How it affects me is how I would vote. As a young person, you should look at, okay, so what am I getting out of having you in office?
Yeah.
What is it that you can do for me?
Yeah.
And that's how they should look at all of when you go to the poll and vote.
Yeah.
And most of them say, well, I'm not going to vote anyway.
Yeah.
No matter if you don't like Sleepy Joe, or if you don't like Trump, vote.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vote, because that you have that right.
Yeah.
You have that right.
I got you.
Growing up in Atlanta, with the civil rights capital, the King family and Jose Williams, they did a lot for us. And they wanted to make sure that John Lewis, they wanted to make sure that we were able to get out and make our voice heard.
Yeah.
Make our voice heard. And speaking of John Lewis, we're still bringing back the Voters' Rights Act.
Yeah.
Come on, it's time to fix that. So that's what we should young folks should be concentrating on. Look at the views, look at the issues. How does it impact you?
I got you. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Once you answer the question, you can look right in that camera and tell them why they should vote for you May 21st, right? Or early voting starts Monday.
Early voting starts April 29th.
April 29th, right? Okay, so Mike or Prince?
Say, why would you want to put the two of them in the category?
Mike or Prince?
Mike or Prince? Mike.
Mike or Prince. And your favorite city to vacation?
Oh, Florida. Orlando.
Orlando. And what's your favorite movie of all time?
Star Wars. Star Wars.
Ralph loves Star Wars, man.
Star Wars. I have all the whole series, so yes.
Okay, I got you. And if you could have anybody be the president right now, who would you pick?
Anybody? That's a tough one.
I'm talking about anybody. Anybody you want. Who would you pick?
You.
Say less. Say less. Well, the first thing we're gonna do is wrap this show up. So, what we're gonna do is look right to that camera, let them know why to vote for you.
All right. Voting for Rodney J. Fowler will give you the customer service that you need. I will also bring back the issues that you're having, creating a constituent services unit, making sure that when you email or when you call the clerk's office, that your phone calls get answered timely, your emails are answered timely, and they're done accurately. To make sure when you come, you can leave you can come in looking upset, but you can leave with a smile. I want you to be able to say, I want to go back to the clerk's office because I like the way those people treat me. I want you to be able to, voting for me will also give you a sense of calmness that when you come to the clerk's office, that you will get what you need.
Indeed. And there you have it. You know what it is. We're going to wrap it up. Politics and Black Families. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Peace.
Good, man.
Perfect.